any changes made to the agenda before we start, or do we go as is?
Yes, sir, I have two. I would like to move number 5 and number 9 up to the front because Mr. Jeffrey's here, so there's his two items that we'll be talking about, so he may have to leave.
Do I
So,
hear a motion for number 5 and 9 be moved up top of the
You
agenda?
make a motion to move it.
Second, all in favor? All right, thank you. Okay, so first we're gonna do is approve the minutes of October 14, 2013 regular meeting. Do I hear a motion we approve those minutes?
Make a motion to approve it.
I second it.
All in favor? Thank you. Okay. Now, Jeffrey, I guess we'll do the approved chief for water audit grant first.
yeah, that'd be fine. And I think everybody knows Mr. Jeffrey, he's our wastewater treatment plant supervisor. And I guess we'll talk about the GFA water audit grant. Mr. Jeffrey, if you want to start off with that. And this is working on the wells and the meter readings and things that we have to report to the state, helping our water lossage. You have the okay. All right, Mr. Jeffrey, you can go ahead if you can.
We found out when we attended these several water loss audit training sessions last year. Basically, the city of Eastman is required, beginning as of 2013, to submit a water loss audit to the state every year. And basically, that just entails, how many gallons of water we pump from each well, and it goes on down, just several things. And what we have to do, we have to submit a score. We score ourselves, basically, and send that report in to EPD. And so far, they have not set forth any regulations as you have to meet certain criteria on these water audits yet, but it is coming down the line. So basically, we had a fairly low score, which is expected the first year, because you have to have room to increase your score. So when we submitted that audit, the first thing, it pops up the top 3 things you need to look at based on your score. And the first thing that came up on the city of Eastman is at each well we have a production meter that basically records the amount of gallons that we pump every day. And we keep a reading of that every day, 8 o'clock. We go by and write that down, keep up with it, and we have to submit a monthly report to EPD. So basically what we found out at these workshops, that GFA had set aside some money for small communities, not a large amount of money, but money's free regardless, to help us increase our scores. Okay, the first thing that EPD did say, we need to have our production meters flow verified. In other words, they have never been done on any of our wells since they've been done. Okay, so GFA says that we will provide you up to $4,000 per access point that has to be created to do these tests. So what basically we have to do, we have to go to each well. We're going to have to actually dig down, locate the water main. The water main will have to be tapped before the person that's going to come do the testing, he has to insert his flow meter into the line. So basically what we have to do is dig, expose the line, tap it, put a corporation stop on there, and then put, and I think Mark Studstill has gave us a price on this, but install like a 4-foot diameter shallow manhole and put a lid on it. So in the future, none of this will have to be done. We just basically go open the lid, the guy can come and take his readings. But this first time doing that, we have to create an access point for him to be able to do that. Again, GFA has allowed up to $4,000 per side. And I think Mark has gave us a price of around $3,400 per well. And the person that I have been in contact with that would actually do the testing, would love to have this done, us have him ready to come by December the 15th. And so basically, the city of Eastman will have to pay for the service to be done. Then that check plus the invoice will be mailed to GFA, or excuse me, this will be sent to Kavanaugh and Associates, which in turn will submit to GFA the invoice for reimbursement to us. GFA did state that if any of the city employees did that work, that they would not pay for that. So that's the reason for us going out and getting a price for someone else to come and do it. So
How many access points do we have, or wells do we have?
we have 4, so there had to be 4, one at each well had to be created.
Can we get another bid on that?
I'm sure you can. Like I say, they will not go over 4,000 per, per well. No.
His was 3,600.
It was 34.
34, it's
34.81.
34.18.
Okay.
Just see if
And
we
you
can
were
get
not
another
at
bid on
4,000.
that. See if we can get another bid on
Okay.
that. Yeah.
Well, I guess that'd be a problem getting another bid. We just have to do it, kind of quickly, where we can have this done for this, this person can come in and do those.
Is there a time limit on how fast you gotta do it now? I mean, were you on a time limit?
Well, if we don't have it done by the end of 2013, see, this is for our audit next year. That audit is due on March the 1st of next year, so if we don't have it finished by the end of the year, our grade will not improve any. In other words, we will have nothing already done.
And that's why we're kind of pushing to get ahead, because they're already, people have counted on them, they're pushing us to go ahead and do that, and that's why we kind of.
Okay, any other questions for Mark? Well, I guess we need a motion to go ahead and approve this audit grant, go ahead and get them to do it.
Are we getting the, another quote, or?
Yeah, we just gonna approve, we gotta get it done, we'll try to get another quote too. We need to probably put that in the motion that we get one, at least try to get one. If we can't get one, just let us know.
Yeah, we will try, we'll try to get another break.
Well, I make a motion the way we said it, to get another quote if we can get one, and make a motion to go ahead and do that.
I second that.
All in favor? Okay. All right, now you want to move into your corrective action plan with sewer spill at Legion Drive lift station?
Yes, sir, that'll be fine.
And I'll let Jeffrey, but we had a meeting last Wednesday on this in Albany. Mr. Raymond, myself, and Jeffrey, and met with our engineers at, in Albany with EPD. So, overall, we've had like 6 bills. So since the rainy season quit, we have not had another spill. But anyway, we're having to answer to what did happen. So once we had the spills, and Mr. Jeffrey can tell you too, we ran it in the paper, posted it on the site, and we've stream cleaning testing done, and we're still continuing that process. And like I said, we met with our engineers and EPD, had a very good meeting. They're asking us to proceed as quick as we can with the process of finding where we're having the leakage. So that's what we're in the process, and of course, in talking to our engineers, we kind of need to set up an amount that we can start with to show EPD, hey, guys, we're fixing to go to work. We're fixing to get this corrected the best we can, so that it won't continuously. And they told us last Wednesday, we're not the only city. I mean, there's a lot of cities that's had this problem. So, and I'll let Jeffrey tell you a little bit about it, and then I'll come back and basically say kind of what I feel like the city needs to do to help correct the problem. Jeffrey, you have anything else that you could?
Of course, I know everybody knows, you know, the amount of rain that we had earlier in the year. And we have 11 pump stations located around town. We have 2 main ones, which is the old treatment plant that they dismantled, which is James Avenue over here, and down here at Legion Drive, across from Howell Steel, down in the bottom over there. So 4 lift stations feed into Legion, 4 into James, and then we have 2 on separate lines by themselves. And when you get that amount of rain, in the only lift station we had any problem with was the Legion Drive lift station. We did have 6 spills from January up until August of this year. And that was directly related to the rain. Mechanically, the lift station was performing as best as it could. We had 2 85-horse submersible pumps in that well. When it came a big rain, and you know the ground was already wet, you get another rain, we get inflow and infiltration. Is what's happening is coming into the lines. It looked really basically like rainwater, and those pumps were running 24/7. So our light bill went from, you know, it more than 4 times what it normally was. So what happened on this last spill, EPD, like I say, I'm required to report each spill within 24 hours, EPD. So we have done everything that is required of us for our permit that we have done. And they acknowledged that, they knew we did. But what happened, it gets to a certain point that they say, hey, it's time that we're gonna require you to find out what's causing your leakage and where it's at. So basically, our engineers, Carl and John, submitted a corrective action plan. In other words, they wanted to know what we were gonna do to find the problem. Once we found the problem, what we were gonna do to correct it. They submitted that EPD turned it down. They wanted specific time frames on which to have each section of this done. As we speak, I'm hoping Carl told him he would have an amended one in a week. So I don't know, Ms. B, I don't
I
think.
got that today, but we have not had a chance to look over.
Okay, so basically, they wanted some time frame on how long it's going to take us to go and look at some of these lines, run cameras down the lines, and smoke the lines to find where the problems are. We already pretty much know the areas we already need to go look at. There's several. You got a lot of, which y'all, and the city did spend a lot of money around Cooper and all that. Y'all spent close to $1 million on replacing the sewer line. But this goes beyond that. It comes from the ones that feed into that. So we got to kind of start at that point and go away from it. So it's just going to be like a trial and error thing. You just have to, you know, do one section at a time. What EPD wants us to do is they want to monitor our progress. In other words, they want to make sure that we're doing what we're saying we're going to do. So basically, and Ms. B, you want to go into the money part of it?
Yeah, I will. And the projection is that we talked about the area from 5th to 9th, toward Piggly Wiggly down that way, and up to the Boys and Girls Club, and from 5th Avenue right drive to 9th Avenue. That is basically the areas that we'll start off with. And the thing that we, and I think it's behind Mr. Bob Butler's house in that area, you know, where it is, just as far as Lake Road, Congo Lane, around the lift station. And we actually, what we need to do is start smoking the lines. And we need to get somebody in here with a camera that can run down the lines, because we don't have a camera. I think we do have the smoking. We can smoke a lot of the lines ourselves. But we do need to hire somebody in here, professional, that can do the camera down the lines. So, and just off the top of our head, we tried to figure, and talking to our engineers, and what we basically come up with was $50,000 if we could get the council to kind of allot us some money so we can go ahead and start working on that. because I think it's important that we let EPD know that we mean business. And I think the first corrective action plan, Jeffrey, was 1 to 5 years. Now, EPD is saying, no, we're not happy with that. So they're looking at 2 years. So we've got to get on a hurry and try to get something done so that we can show EPD that we're.
And they hadn't started, they gotta get this born, and if we go ahead and get it
Right.
born before they make that order, then that's not even gonna show that we're wanting to do it more than what, they want us, start now.
And we did have the 6 bills, and I wrote these down, February, 15,000 gallons, and February, we had 2 in February, 60,000 gallons, 1 in March, 12,000, 1 in June, 6,500, July, 50,000, and August, 4,500. So anything, and of course, over, I believe I'm right, Jeffrey, over 10,000 is
Anything
that
over
we
10
have
is
to.
a major.
So that was kind of the amount of the spills that we've had. I would just, if the council has any input on the money part or whatever, I'd like to hear, what y'all have to say too. But like I said, we and the engineers, just kind of come up with a figure that would be for us to kind of start off with. It doesn't say we'll have to spend all the 50,000, but that, of course, we will be getting, people to come in to, camera on the lines, and we're gonna try to take bids on that, to get companies that will come in and do that. And we did have a little bit of that, the camera down here in, Ms. Floyd, when we did that project down there, so, but we just need the council's backing on the money, and when I say 50,000, I mean, that's just kind of a starting point, and that's a lot of money. But of course, most of the time, we'll be coming back with council on what we would be doing too. So, but we just want to show the EPD, hey, we're ready to get the project going, and we want to comply.
And we don't comply,
Big fine.
There is repercussion.
And we do, I mean, our relationship with EPD up to this point is, we're on good terms with each other, and we wanna keep it that way, and you certainly don't want them on your back. They can make it miserable for you. But, I always tell everybody, just try to do what they ask you to do. And, I mean, they're not giving us a choice whether to or not to. We've got to do it.
And when we were sitting there around the round table, I mean, they commented, Mr. John Fowler and Mr. Jay Howell commented on Mr. Jeffrey, how they appreciated how he turned in the spills and what he had done. So I do appreciate it.
Jeffrey, let me ask you, the cameras are more active than the smoking, right?
Yes, sir.
The smoke can go anywhere, but.
Yes, it depends on how deep the lines are, whether the smoking would work anyway. The deeper it is, the less chance you're going to get for the smoke to actually come up. Smoking is good, it will kind of show up the clear areas, but definitely, a camera is, you see, the guy can actually watch the camera as it's actually going in the line, so.
You would think the cameras would be faster than smoking.
I would assume it would. When you're smoking, you're just gonna have to, kind of, I'm not gonna say randomly do it, but you're gonna have to figure out a grid, by the city sewer map and kind of pick your spot and start. And it certainly would, I'm gonna say take longer, for, of course, my department and Royce's department, of course, we'd be, work together on that, doing what we could do on that end. But I think that if you really want something accurate and will actually show you exactly what's going on, the cameras, I think, are the way to go. And we're not the only town that's in this spot. I can assure you that. Particular lift station, all the rest of them have been flawless. We've had no problems other than the normal, mechanical issues.
Right.
But, I think this is something, that we definitely have to go ahead and get the ball rolling,
Well, like Jeff said, we got till, we got a time limit here, we need to get it done. And, we discussed it, we want to put up to 50,000, and like Steve said, it doesn't mean we're gonna use it all, but we'll at least have it up there to start off with.
I don't have a problem, doing that and all, but this just goes back to, I have preached about this for years. We have got to become proactive and less reactive. I mean, we got lines in here that's way older than I am in this town. And I think, Bobby, right after y'all got on, we did vote to start, we need to, and I don't know, to me, this is our job as council people. We need to sit down and come up with a 5, 10, 15, 20-year plan. Because there's water lines in town that are, there's sewage lines that are, and they're no good. But we need to, in my opinion is, and this would be a good time to start, is we need to sit down and draw the town out. I mean, there's people that come down, there's engineers, there's folks in Athens that have come down. We got areas in town that we don't even have sewage to, that may want sewage out there. I don't know, anybody probably ever asked them. Some right hitting Miller Ridge, out in Hawkinsville Highway. And that would all be part of the plan, but is look at where are we at today, and what are the sewage and water capabilities. And we got streets now that you patch here, 4 foot down the road, 3 days later it line pops again, and 4 foot down the road, a week later it pops. And those patching things they're putting on them pipes are rather expensive.
Just a Band-Aid too.
And all you're doing is you're burying that under the ground. So, I would like to, and I know we made the motion and we agreed with to do this 2 years ago, almost a year and a half ago. But we really, we need to really get serious and quit talking about it, and to start having work sessions and get these people down here and work on it, because we can't do it all in a year or 2 or 3. It may take 15 years, 20 years, but at the end of that time frame, the oldest water and sewage line we can have in town would be however long the length of time it is when we finished it. And we set sections each year and set aside X number of dollars. And, we're still gonna have problems in areas, but it's sooner or later we have got to get proactive and look, because it's there, and start working on, sort of like you go to the doctor, when you get real sick, when you gotta go get fixed. If you go to the doctor for checkups and things, you prevent things from happening. It's like you go to the dentist every 6 months to get your teeth cleaned, where you don't have the cavities. And we have a lot of cavities around our water and sewage lines. And also, I would make a motion and propose that we go ahead and set this money aside out of the water fund and get some bids to get working on this. But also in that motion is, let's get with these groups and all, sit down and start having work sessions and start working on a 5, 10, 15-year plan to redo all this. And like I said, in it, look at what it will cost to put these other areas on sewage. And you got a lot of people complaining about the price of sewage. Well, if you added another 1,000 households to it, guess what? The 1,800 wouldn't be paying that whole $12 million bill. And also, but I would, like I said, make a motion, we go ahead and do this, but also sit down and start working on plans to start correcting and fixing this on a year, fixing certain section every year, and until we get it done.
I agree with what Buddy said, this town's getting older, a lot of stuff, the thing's been there since forever, and everything eventually needs to be replaced.
Yeah.
And
I think with the main part was just to show that we kind of mean business,
Right.
that we're going to put forth the effort, especially with the 6 people here.
Buddy made that motion, we do that, and also get to working on preventive measure, I guess, for preventive and fixed measure. And so, anybody want to second his motion?
I'll second.
All in favor? Okay, we'll do that. I don't think we can bring you any more.
Thank you.
Jeff.
Appreciate
you coming. Okay, now I need your monthly reports are there for your review. Be sure to take those and look at those. And we need now to make a motion to approve monthly bills for October 14th through 28th, 2013.
Make a motion to approve.
Here,
I
second.
second.
All in favor? Mr. Prince, you seconded?
Yes.
Okay. All right, number 3, we have to reschedule the November 11th council meeting, which is Veterans Day holiday.
Veterans Day is the 11th, and that is on the council meeting night. So, does anybody have a suggestion or?
I will be out of service the 14th, so if we could, do it before the 14th, make it the 12th or 13th.
What about Tuesday or Wednesday?
I have no problem with either one of those.
have a problem.
What about you, Mr. Buddy?
I got
12th
it.
or the 13th, that was Tuesday or Wednesday?
I got a development authority meeting the 12th, now 13th, I could do the 13th.
What time is, oh, you got it at 9? Okay.
Yes, ma'am, it's at 6.
Okay.
13th sounds good. Well,
How about
y'all
you,
have
Mr.
church
Floyd,
on,
Mr. Prince, the 13th? Y'all have-
November 13th.
We're usually out by 7, right? So.
yeah.
But we start at 6, unless we change the time
Be
too.
okay.
Now, that's up to y'all, if you want to come at earlier on Wednesday, we can come at
We can come on,
5 and,
yeah, we can start at 5 o'clock and be through by before 7.
That's good for me.
Well, how about you?
is that all right?
Yeah.
Okay, everybody that down?
5 o'clock on the 13th.
I'll be sure to call.
Yeah.
They're rolling in here at 6 and they're
Yeah.
All right, I need a motion, we do this, and a second on it.
I make a motion to approve, our next meeting be on November the 13th at 5 o'clock.
I second the motion.
All right, all in favor? Thank you. Okay, number 4, SPLOST intergovernmental agreement.
Okay, I think, Ms. Upper, did you give them a copy? I think y'all have a copy in front of you, and Ms. Rita has the information, and she'll tell us a little bit about it.
I received a draft agreement from the county. John Harrington sent it to me on a proposed intergovernmental agreement. If you'll, the first one in front of you that has red in it has the changes that I've made to the agreement. The agreement covers the required issues that need to be covered in any intergovernmental agreement with the county for the distribution of SPLOST proceeds. And of course, this is the SPLOST that is to take effect in 2014 that is currently on the ballot. It recites who the county is, who the cities are that are participating in the SPLOST, which is every city and municipality and town in Dodge County. It is expected to start October 1st of 2014, and I'm on page 2. It lists the amount of money it's expected to raise, which is $13 million. There's an exhibit on the last page that lists the percentages. And I think that has already come before the council, and y'all have voted already to accept percentage of 18.61%, which is estimated to bring $2,419,300. Y'all have voted on that percentage already. The intergovernmental agreement will just outline the county the county's collection of those funds and the distribution of those funds. There is no priority in this, in the distribution of funds. It is on a percentage basis. And on page 4 of the agreement, that is what I changed. If you'll look at the red, it's just going to be distributed in accordance with the schedule, which is attached to the intergovernmental agreement as Exhibit A. I've included that the county will provide, and it's my understanding the county will receive this money from the state on a monthly basis. They will then distribute it to the city, and all the town and cities in the county of Dodge. And I've asked that they provide you with the amount that they collect, the amount that they distribute, so y'all don't have to ask for that. I know we had some requests last year for what was received and what was distributed. And I know that B told me that she can check the website also, but we've asked for that to go ahead and provide that to us on a monthly basis. On page 5, there was a priority and order of project funding. There really is no priority. It's going to be, again, distributed based on a percentage basis. The county on page 6 did ask for a certificate of completion. That there are reporting requirements in state law that are applicable to every municipality and county, that y'all are subject to audit requirements, publication in the newspaper on an annual basis as to what you've collected, what projects you've started, what projects you've completed. And I think B is familiar with those reporting requirements, as most of y'all may be. But it's on an annual basis, and it's state law. Y'all have to comply with that regardless of whether you certify to the county that you completed or not. I redlined that and took it out. There's really no requirement that the city report to the county, but certainly you can. And certainly those, any kind of expenditures that y'all make according, under the SPLOST monies collected are subject to open records, open public inspection. So I did take that out. There was also a provision in the intergovernmental agreement that I received from the county that the county would be reimbursed with the cost of the election and the cost of the administrative SPLOST. And so I just changed it so that everybody bears their percentage basis of cost and expenses. So certainly it's the county's duty and responsibility to collect the SPLOST monies. That's what state law provides for. But certainly the expense can be borne on a percentage basis as to what you're receiving a benefit on the SPLOST. So I changed it so that it is based on the percentage of the distribution, which would be the 18.61%. And that of course would mean that the cost of administration of the SPLOST is in this intergovernmental agreement. I've not been provided with how much that might possibly be.
Ms. Reed, I checked on that today, and they're telling me from $18,000 to $20,000, this type of election. And so the one where they have candidates running and all, they said that would run probably around $25,000. So our part would be from $18,000 to $20,000, which around probably $3,700, thereabouts.
18% of $100, and we're going to take it.
And that was figured in $3,700 if you figured $20,000. The cost of the election, then our part would be around $3,700.
And that's the cost of election, which is going on now. Of course, you can vote now at the courthouse for that, or against it, but hopefully people in Eastman will vote for it. And so, you know, our SPLOST now is set to expire next year, so it will just really be a continuation of the same amount. So, and I added a signature page for if it looks okay with the council and you're in agreement with this. It's, I don't believe it's been passed by the county, but it's been provided to me. So I'm providing it to y'all for consideration. The second copy in front of you has the changes in it, but not red.
Do you need a motion on that? I'll make a motion that,
We're in agreement with it.
well, I am, I like it a lot better now than I did. I'll I'll make a motion, we go ahead and adopt this as it is.
Do I hear a second?
I second the motion.
All in favor? Okay. Thanks. Okay, number 6, let's get on to that, is Oak County Drug Task Force Agreement. We do this every year, don't we?
We do. Miss Becky, do you have any comment on that? I talked to Miss Becky about it, and she's in agreement. And you may want to hear from Miss Becky a little bit, but I think they've been very helpful to her from what I've understand in the
Now,
last
some
several.
of it has changed now, it doesn't come up under the GBI anymore, it comes through the Tim Bond's office. And to me, it'd be even better. I think we'd be a whole lot more satisfied, because it'll all be strictly here, so we got some good folks working with it now that are from here. Tony Grubb works with the sheriff's department, he's the main one there, and I really believe he would be very good for us.
Now, is this money still going to those people you just said, or what you
Yeah, all it
saying?
goes to the same organization type thing, but it's just be under a different leadership. It used to come up under the GBI, but now it's gonna be like through the district attorney's office.
But still, though, Connie,
Still though, coming to a task.
that's what I meant, okay. All right.
We got a motion, we do this,
I make a motion, to go ahead and do this.
any seconds?
I second it.
All right, all in favor? Okay,
And
Becky.
this is for the first of next year, so we won't have to make the
Till
changes.
first
January.
next year.
Yeah, January.
We're paid up through January.
Okay.
That's good.
Set amount. What was that amount?
It's $8,800, 8801, I believe it is.
That's for the whole year.
For
That's
the
for the
whole
whole
year.
year.
All right, number 7, Thanksgiving luncheon and gift cards for employees.
Okay, and what I just need to get council approval if you want to do basically the same thing that we done last year. We give a gift card for the council for the employees to kind of get a turkey or whatever. So, the
Okay.
gift cards were $20. So, and Ms. Evelyn has been working already on what we would do, and we're going to try to downsize a little bit with the luncheon, and kind of to be a little, not smaller, but we're gonna combine and, do a little bit different, not go with so many things, so we're trying to, well, we're trying to cut, save the budget a little bit, so, but we do need a motion and a second if y'all want to,
I make a motion, to go ahead and do the luncheon.
All right, do I hear a second on the motion to the luncheon?
I second.
Mr. Prince, second, all in favor? All right, thank you. All right, number 8, approval to install a street light on Minna Ridge.
okay, we have had a request, to install a street light on, down in Minna Ridge, and so we have went and checked it out, and I think it's very appropriate. The, excuse me, the pole is already there, so we have basically talked to Georgia Power a little bit, I don't know when, but we need the council's approval before we can tell Georgia Power and give them the okay to install the street light. So,
I make a motion, to approve that.
Do I hear a second?
I second.
All in favor? Thank
okay.
you. Okay, we're going down to the building inspector code enforcement recommendations. Jackie's Gun and Pawn Incorporated, 218 Main Street, replacing awning contractor self, and Jackie's Gun and Pawn Incorporated, 220 Main Street, replacing awning contractor self.
Okay, and if y'all, any of y'all were at the festival, and I particularly noticed it, they already took the awning down, I think it was just about to fall, so everything is basically in order there.
Does that mean there's 2 addresses at the same place?
The building next to it,
Two, just one building and the building next to it.
the beauty shop, New Images, and the
Yeah.
pawn shop.
And the bunch, okay, I was just saying it was, okay.
Need a motion that we do this?
Make a motion, we do it.
Second,
I second.
all in favor?
Okay, the GMA Fall District meeting will be held November the 19th from 6 to 8 in Lyons, Georgia. So we normally participate in that, so the ones of y'all that can go, need to get with Miss Ivan so she can put your name down and let them know. They generally have a meal, so, it's generally pretty nice, so any of y'all that can go, I think Mr. Raymond will be able to the time because of his surgery, but any of y'all that would like to go, see Miss Ivan. The Mayor's Day Conference will be held January the 24th through the 27th next year. So y'all be thinking about who can go or who would like to go. And normally what we do is go ahead and reserve 5 rooms for everybody. So, and then if somebody has to cancel out, we have a room anyway. So, but you need to get with Ms. Ivan on that.
Question. On that day we go up, they got some classes that we can get a 3-hour credit. Do we need to put in for that or just go
And
to it?
let me see here, I got, hopefully, I don't know if y'all have one of these yet.
Yeah.
Okay, and then I think it
That's what I seen
itemizes
it
in
in.
what you want to take, and then if you'll get back with Miss Ivan, then she'll register
Okay.
for what you want, or what you want to take. Okay. Boy Scouts, they're having a dinner, I think, the Distinguished Citizen Award dinner, and they are going to recognize Mr. Paul Beebe. So there again, this is for y'all to know that if you want to go, if you'll kind of get with Miss Ivan, and she can let them know that how many will be coming. And I believe that's going to be held at the, let's see here, at the chamber, the Terry Coleman Conference Center, Tuesday, November the 19th. Yeah, Terry L. Coleman Conference Center. So reception at 6, the dinner's at 6:30. So we need to reply back by November 12th. So if y'all get with Ms. Ivan, let her know if you can go.
You said that was Tuesday, November 19th.
Tuesday, November the 19th.
Same day as
Reception
the,
is,
same
Yeah.
day as the GMA thing
yeah,
also.
and that's gonna be a conflict with
Yeah.
the ones when we go in there. Because this starts at 6, the dinner's at 6:30, so. Okay, okay, I hope that y'all have noticed the flashing light, up toward the middle school. DOT has installed everything that they need to do, and they're waiting on Georgia Power to get it hooked up with electricity so they can turn them on.
I hate to bring this up, but I sat in front of that red light coming out of the high school last night for 10 minutes. At least, I don't know how long it was. I finally run the red light.
You talk about coming out from the school, and then you go past that big white line.
Do you have to go past?
If you go past it,
Don't go
it's not
past it.
gonna trip it.
It won't?
No.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know.
Yeah, you probably drove right on past
Well,
it.
it's
didn't
dark, you can't see.
You got headlights, ain't you?
But we will check, we'll have DOT.
Believe it or not, when I went over it, the light changed. But I made sure there wasn't nobody coming.
Okay.
But we'll have DOT to check it
I
for
won't
us.
do that way. I cut through.
Okay, and I was glad y'all come at 5:30 today and was able to see the work being done on the sidewalk. They've done an awful lot of work on the other side, the east side, so, Mr. Marks does, so they're continuing that work. The bus station, and y'all were able to tour a little bit of the bus station to see what work, has been, done over there. It looks very good, so.
Miss Wilbanks would be happy.
She definitely would, I believe,
Would.
yeah. And just to let you know, we've been working on some of the dilapidated buildings, downtown here on Back Street, and I think I've mentioned those before. The end building, I think Mr. Mark Stustle has cleaned that out a good bit, and he's, I think, gonna do some renovation work for Mr. Coffey. And then the Peacock building across the road, Bug House, he's done a good bit of work in there, so I believe he's got to put a top on it to start off with, and then, go from there. So y'all pay attention when you go by. Aviation Way, that's the water line to the airport, has been completed. Mr. Mark, I believe, completed that last week. has run it up to the Bryce building that did not have any water. That building does have water now, so. And I think that's about all I have.
At this time, we need to, motion to go into executive session for regarding the purchase of real estate.
I make a motion to go in.
And a second.
Second session.
Okay, Buddy seconded, all in favor? All right, we shouldn't take us long. We'll go in and come back to it.